They have a button now. At the bottom left, you just hit it.
I don't have that. You have some fancy new version of Skype.
Oh, my old. So what's up, man? What's been going on?
Man, it's just been a crazy week. So I had been working part-time up until last week. So I was getting off at 2 o'clock every day, which was cool. It's part of my leave. But this was the first week going back full-time, and time management is fucking hard.
Yeah, maybe and.
Yeah, because like when I get home from work, I take over watching the baby so Tiffany can cook dinner and get some of the other stuff done. Because she's still kind of in that phase where she's not needy, but like she needs to be held a lot and stuff like that. And it's hard to do shit when you're holding the baby.
I thought you were talking about Tiffany. We gotta hold.
No, she hasn't needed to be held in a while. She's an independent woman. But yeah, so it's just been hard to try and manage that. And then also I try to at least play for an hour a day. I try to squeeze guitar in for an hour a day because I just think you need to do that with your craft to stay sharp. But that I've been almost hitting it, but it's more been like 30 to 45 minutes a day. And then also research for the podcast is fucking hard. I don't know, it's just been crazy. Juggling a bunch of stuff. How's it been for you?
Pretty good, man. Things have been coming together in a lot of areas. Our gigs have been going well. We're getting up. Been doing open mic comedy, and that's going really well. I'm really happy to finally have started.
You're doing open mic comedy?
Yeah.
What?
A buddy from work is a wannabe comic like me. And
oh man, that's awesome.
He hadn't done his first one, so I was like, dude, if you do it, I'll do it. So we went out and we did our first open mics together, and that was like 3 weeks ago, so we've been going every week.
How was it?
It's good, man.
Did you get some laughs?
Yeah.
Yeah? Did you kill?
They said I did.
Really? What's your style of comedy? Are you a storyteller? Are you doing one-liners?
I have it's kind of both, but I think I come from like an angry place where I just like what the fuck is wrong with people. It's super fun though, man.
Man, so, I'm surprised you started doing that. I didn't know you wanted to do comedy.
Dude, I love comedy, man. Like
I know you love it. I just didn't know you had that. You were an aspiring comedian, but and you should be comfortable on stage though, man, because you've done so much music, and then not just music in a band, but like solo shit where you're up there just vulnerable acoustic guitar singing by yourself. So I know you have most people freak out with the public speaking aspect of it, but like you're fine with that.
Yeah.
You're fine with bombing, I think if you inevitably bomb, because you will bomb at some point.
Yeah, like I've had some bombing moments, and it's like it's not a big deal.
Rock you, yeah.
Like you
just
kind of
part of the art form.
Big time. But comedy's been super fun, dude. So.
Man, I'm happy for you. I'm happy to hear about like the experience of it.
Thanks, man.
Man.
I think it would be pretty easy to get a solid 20 minutes and then start trying to get feature sets at places.
You've always been kind of naturally funny, I know that doesn't always translate to comedian, right? Like it's a different thing, but you've always naturally been the funny one of the group.
Thanks, man. I'm not sure.
The silly one.
Silly, yeah. I think Steve-O's the funny.
Steve-O's, well, not of all groups, I guess, because Steve-O's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
But other than Steve-O, you've also been pretty funny.
Dude, you know who's truly the funniest? Sean and Aaron.
Well, with them together?
It's individually, just whatever combination you get. They're both hilarious. Like, just so funny. I mean, you've hung out with Sean,
Yeah, of course.
Sean's hilarious, man. So funny.
He's pretty funny.
Just quick. Anyway, dude, we already...
He is quick.
11 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
11 minutes.
All good. Yeah.
How's your Ingle head, bro? How's your Ingle head?
So I was actually about to bring that up. It's great. It sounds amazing. Best head I've ever bought. All right. So here's the thing. Like I went to practice this, the first practice I practiced at, and I noticed that there was a buzz, like when I didn't have at the house. but it was only at Eddie's house. Like I have this weird buzz in the head, like. The built-in noise suppressor is so good that I'm just used to it being absolutely silent. Like when I'm not playing a note or something, I expect even if I have it pretty loud, it's usually pretty silent when I'm playing it at my house. But like I brought it to Eddie's and there's this with the built-in noise suppressor on. So I have the external noise suppressor, the NS2, that I've always used for all my heads, right? With that on, yeah, it's perfectly silent and it's perfect with that on. But it kind of pissed me off. I was like, why the fuck am I having to use an external noise suppressor in the first place? When this one I know works perfectly fine at my house is not working here. So I sat there. I actually started getting really upset. Like, I'm going to return this fucking thing and exchange it or something because I'm not dealing with any buzz. I spent all kind of money on this thing. I expected it to be absolute perfection. But just playing around with it, we couldn't get it to stop. And then so John has an Ingle as well, an Ingle Powerball 2. Like, man, let's turn your noise suppressor off and see if yours is buzzing. And sure enough, his head's doing the same fucking thing. And then I said, Jarek, let's check your bass. And his was doing the same thing. So I think it's literally just the grounding in Eddie's house is making the heads buzz. It wasn't just my head that was doing it. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But for a while there, I was like getting very upset that there was something wrong with my head and I was going to have to exchange it. And I bought it brand new. Like, you can you imagine the feeling like spending fucking $3,000 on this fucking head and you're like, it's already fucked up within 2 weeks of you owning it, like the sinking feeling in your stomach. But it turns out, I tested it again yesterday and I left everything the same I had it at practice. So when I brought it home, I just left the settings, the volume and everything the same. Plugged it up in my garage, fucking had it super loud. Perfectly quiet, no buzz at all. So it's probably just the wiring in Eddie's house.
Can you bypass his wiring by getting a really nice surge protector?
I was looking into that. Not a surge protector, but I need something like a power conditioner, something that regulates the voltage going to the head. Jai actually had this little brick called a Buzz X, something like that, and it was supposed to like kill the hum when you have a weird hum on your equipment. I tested it on my head and John's. It didn't do a fucking thing. It still had the hum with that on it. So I don't know that a power conditioner would necessarily fix it, but I imagine a power conditioner has better filtering or whatever it's called.
Like a device dedicated to that action would probably be better.
Yeah, you've seen those big Furman power conditioners that they put in racks and shit like that.
Oh, that's where it goes. I'm imagining something you plug into the wall. Like, I'm so stupid. But yeah, that would probably work better than a built-in feature on an amp.
Yeah, and it's not even that the noise suppressor is not a power converter. Noise suppressor just is in before your preamp, and it cleans up like any extraneous like feedback that shouldn't be there, and it works excellent. Whenever I'm on I guess a decently grounded electrical circuit. But if I'm Eddie lives in the St. Streets by UL in this old fucking house with like really shitty wiring. So I imagine that anywhere else I go, it'll be fine. And it sounds fine when I put the noise suppressor on, the Boss NS2 that I have. It's silent with that. It still sounds amazing. But in my mind, it's like, I shouldn't even need to fucking use this NS2. I just want to use the head by itself, you know?
Yeah.
Because I spent $3,000 on this thing. I expect it to be perfect. But it wasn't just my head. John has another fucking super expensive Ingle and is doing the same thing on that one. So there's nothing wrong with my head.
That's good. I get that buzz sometimes when I record. And it always really bugs me because, you simply can't. Like when you set up a session and you're ready to track mentally, you're like, all right, it's gonna be 3 hours.
And now you spend 3 hours fucking troubleshooting where the goddamn buzz is coming from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I ate up like 30 minutes of practice like troubleshooting. We tried different cabs. So John had an orange cab in his trunk, so we pulled that out and plugged it up. Same fucking thing. I said, well, let me try it on your cab. Same thing. Let me try it on your guitar. Same thing. Let's turn all these settings all over the fucking place. Ate up 30 minutes of practice. I was like, all right, we haven't played a fucking song yet. Let me just turn the NS2 on and get to work. But it sounds really good.
I'm glad it works, man.
Because it works.
Like Steve-O's Ampeg that shit out on him, and they couldn't fix it. They were
I
like,
mean,
"We don't know what's wrong," and he was like, "Okay." He had a broken Ampeg, what is it? A defected Ampeg that he had
defective.
defective. Yeah, that he threw away basically. $2,000. Holy fuck.
Yeah, it sucks, man. When you
Yeah.
spend that kind of money, you expect. But I did buy it from Sweetwater. They give a 2-year warranty, so
you're covered if something.
I'm covered if some shit goes wrong.
Right on. Hey, can you center your camera on your face, because you might not show up in the split screen.
My bad. There you go. I was just trying to be in front of the mic.
You're good. So you want to get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it. So I saw the articles you sent me. We got the first one pulled up there with Iraq reclaiming 17,000 looted artifacts. So think about how fucked up that is. We go into your country, we destroy your economy, we topple your government, and we steal all your culture. 17,000 artifacts. How crazy is that?
It's pretty insane, because my first thought is, after 9/11 in 2003, whenever our military invaded Iraq, for the longest time I heard that we looted their stuff from the Iraqi Natural History Museum, but I looked up an article and I found that I think we allowed looters to loot it.
Yeah, it wasn't looted by us.
But we allowed it. What happened inside the Iraq Museum when thousands of valuable antiquities were stolen in the immediate aftermath of the 2003 U.S. invasion has been revealed in a new book. I didn't really go into this article much, but it is there. There is a story on us and looting the Iraqi Natural Museum. And here they are again in this story we're covering, getting some of their stuff back. So whatever it is about that museum and getting looted and their artifacts in Mesopotamia is kind of a big deal.
Well, think about that. That's our human, like, race history that can tell us a lot about
everything.
Yeah, about everything. And to just let it get looted to make a buck, because I'm sure that there was some money that greased palms along the way there, and it all ended up on the black market getting sold for millions of dollars. Yeah. Like, the people are so fucking greedy to just throw away our history like that.
Or having certain artifacts be confiscated and kept from people because it reveals things. But listen to this, dude. All this. So the book reveals about this stuff, that at least 13,864 objects were stolen, making it the biggest museum theft in history. Now, we're talking about 2003 after 9/11, not the Iraq reclaimed 17,000 stuff. We'll get back to that. Yeah. The book reveals an estimated of 500,000 objects in the museum, and thieves having run the place for 36 hours. The wonder is the loss was not far closer to the original inaccurate reports of 170,000 items. The efforts of Iraq, U.S., Italian officials, police, and customs worldwide have led to the recovery of 5,400 items. There's a sacred number, 5,400. That's the number of degrees in a pentagon, nearly 700 from inside the U.S. and Britain. All this, as well as the remarkable tale reclaiming of the fabulous treasure of Nimrod, as told in Thieves of Baghdad, available in the U.S. and written by Matthew Bogdanos. As a real-life Indiana Jones is how they explain it. It was here, 2003, April 18th in Basra, he heard the Iraq Museum had been plundered. Requested permission to investigate, put a team together, hurried to Baghdad, arrived at the museum compound on April 20th. Not a pretty sight. It had been used as a fighting position. Iraq army uniforms were scattered all around, as were expended RPGs. In a courtyard smoldered the remains of hundreds of Ba'ath Party cards and files. And above the center door to the main building was a large handwritten sign, "Death to all Americans and Zionist pigs." So this article will be in the notes underneath the description and stuff. But that's a real thing. The looting of the museum right after 9/11, and I believe our troops are what allowed the thieves to take over for 36 hours. So back to Iraq reclaiming 17,000 looted artifacts. The institution that held about 12,000 of the items was the Museum of the Bible, a 4-year-old Washington museum founded and funded by the Christian evangelical family that owns Hobby Lobby craft store chain.
That's so crazy to me.
Yeah, the addition of artifacts from ancient Mesopotamia was intended to provide context for Old Testament events. So 12,000 of the 17,000 were held by Hobby Lobby. And later in this article, it says that Hobby Lobby, when it got shipped to them, it was labeled under ceramic tiles. And that clicked for me why Hobby Lobby would be part of this. Because in my mind, there is a larger conspiracy to get these artifacts and keep the truth from getting out, as well as people selling it. But that's how you launder ancient artifacts, is through an arts and crafts store. As crazy as it sounds, because you can you can't ride it down under tires and rims.
In addition to the 17,321 items that were recovered, further 17 were handed back from countries including Japan, the Netherlands, and Italy. The best of known artifacts, the Gilgamesh Dream Tablet, will be repatriated in the next month after legal procedures are finalized. Containing part of the ancient poem Epic of Gilgamesh, the 3,500-year-old cuneiform tablet is approximately 6 inches by 5 inches, and it was believed to have entered the U.S. via an antiques dealer who purchased it in 2003 and imported it to the country without declaring the contents as required. The item was then sold on several times before being acquired for over $1.6 million by American retailer Hobby Lobby at a 2014 auction. It was later seized from Washington, D.C.'s Museum of the Bible, whose chairman also serves as the president of the craft chain store.
Wow.
Crazy. So they bought that tablet back in 2014. And that's one of the items that's going to be handed back to Iraq later on.
Yeah, what does it say right here? 4 years ago, the U.S. Department of Justice fined Hobby Lobby $3 million for failing to exercise due diligence in its acquisition of more than 5,000 artifacts. Some of those were among what was returned last week. So they've been in political struggle over this, and we just haven't heard about it.
Wow.
Which is wild. So check this out. Many of the returned clay tablets and seals are from Irisagrig, a lost ancient city. Let me find the part in here. I try to keep it lined up with the article, but it's hard.
It's all good.
Here it is. Many of the returned clay tablets and seals are from Irisagrig, a lost ancient city. The city's existence became known only when tablets mentioning it were seized at the Jordan border in 2003, while thousands more surfaced in international antiquities market.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I think this is the click through to that. Hobby Lobby's illegal antiquities shed light on a lost, looted ancient city in Iraq. Archaeologist Eckert Fram didn't have much time to determine where the 4,000-year-old clay tablets had come from. They gave him just 2.5 days in a dimly lit New York warehouse to pore over the cuneiform inscriptions etched in the fragile ancient pieces and report back. They were not in great shape. They had infestations of salt in them, so it's not that I could say I'd been able to read everything. My main goal was to provide a general assessment from when and where did these tablets actually originate. You could argue that this is a lost city because this place has never been properly excavated. You don't even know where it is. But looters know. The roughly 250 tablets from examined in 2016 were among 5,500 objects, including ancient cylinder seals and clay seal impressions known as bouye, smuggled into the U.S. starting in 2010. Shipped from the United Arab Emirates and Israel without declaring their true Iraqi origin. Some of them were marked ceramic tiles or Yeah. So
and then Hobby Lobby bought a bunch of clay tiles for $1.6 million. The Epic of Gilgamesh was part of that purchase.
Bro, that's insane. So there's another little click through here. And it is a victory and a global effort by countries to press Western institutions to return culturally vital artifacts like the push to repatriate the famed Benin bronzes to Nigeria, which I believe is this.
I didn't have the same click-throughs because the New York Times wanted to put a paywall up for me.
It doesn't do that for me on desktop.
Oh, it was on my tablet.
When British soldiers stole the treasured works in 1897, it left a gaping hole in an ancient culture with a few set to return to Nigeria. So apparently that's that statue that... Yeah.
It's like, why do these corporations want to purchase these artifacts, right? Why would they want to hold on to them other than to suppress either that culture or
yeah, I mean,
hide things about our past?
I feel like it's a government arm.
Right, that's what I mean.
Like, it's just the government using Hobby Lobby when they need to get what they want.
Or who even fucking shops at Hobby Lobby?
Me, dude, I was there yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I should stop talking shit. I was like, how do they have the money for all this? No one even shops there. It's definitely a CIA front.
So check this out. Because most of the objects bought for the museum were not studied. They were not studied. They remain a mystery. The sole artifact that it has kept from the collection, a cuneiform inscribed brick from a temple in Nebuchadnezzar's period, has a clear provenance. The museum says that the export papers from the family that donated it show that it was legally taken from Iraq to the United States in the 1920s. So that's pretty fucking cool right here. A clay brick that bears an inscription celebrating the construction of a new palace for Nebuchadnezzar and his family in Babylon. It is written in Babylonian dialect of Akkadian in cuneiform script. Akkadian, bro. Acadia Parish. What's the connection? This brick, along with numerous similarly inscribed copies, would have been used to construct the walls of the new palace. So Nebuchadnezzar created in 580 BC in Iraq. Pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so this article also mentioned among these relics, I don't know where it was, I should have taken a note on that, that a piece of the Epic of Gilgamesh was recovered.
That's what I was talking about with that purchase from Hobby Lobby, 2014.
Do you still have... Oh, here it is. Hobby Lobby's batch of repatriated objects does not include what had been the best known of its holdings from Mesopotamia, a clay tablet fragment roughly 3,500 years old, inscribed with the fragment of the Gilgamesh epic, an ancient saga with similarities to stories of the Great Flood and the Garden of Eden that predates the Old Testament by many centuries. Wow.
And Hobby Lobby is like, nope, you're not gonna... we're Christian. We can't have that story getting out there, proving that these stories were way older than the Bible.
Ah, bro. Yeah, Christian company. Hey, bro, that's good. That's good shit right there. Wow. Maybe so, man. Maybe they're run by the Vatican, by Rome, by the Pope.
They're a Christian company, though. That's why they have that museum. That's why the president of Hobby Lobby is also part of the Museum of the Bible.
Yeah, like he gets, like the Pope gives orders and he's like, tell Hobby Lobby, Michaels, and Joanne Fabrics to get everything they fucking can because people are finding out the Bible is not a science book. That's how that would work. It's not hard. If you're the Pope and you run shit, it's not hard to devise that plan. It's hard for us as regular people to imagine devising that plan because the resources and connections required. But like if you're just the Pope and you just do like that, or some world leader, it's not hard. This isn't rocket science.
Yeah, why would they want it? What other reason other than wanting to suppress that would Hobby Lobby want to purchase the Epic of Gilgamesh?
They could sell it to looters for shit tons of money.
Like, it's not like they're holding on to it for reverence, right? Or they're even are they displaying it in the Museum of the Bible currently?
Yeah, it said it went into the fucking Museum of the Bible in 2019, but it's not being studied. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't study it. So that's one way to do it. It's like, well, they're not hiding it. They put it in a museum. It's like, study it and tell us what it says. Teach us about the Epic of Gilgamesh. Let's get the educate. Don't just put up some obscure piece of clay tab and be like, it's here. We're not hiding nothing. Like, you hide it in plain sight. What's a dude gonna do? Go there 18 hours a day and study it? The guards are gonna kick him out. They're gonna find out. You can't. You just hide it in plain sight. No one will ever know what the fuck it is anyway.
So they did put it up in their museum?
Yeah, if I could find that paragraph again.
I'm just trying to understand why Hobby Lobby is purchasing these artifacts.
Yeah, I don't think that's part of this article. We can just conspiracize, but why the fuck would they? Do you know? Why would they ship it from Iraq under ceramic tiles? You know, it's just a lot of conspiracy. This is conspiracy. You know what I mean? Like, this is conspiracy.
For sure.
For sure. I couldn't find that spot. I'm still scrolling.
It's all good.
Here it is. The Justice Department, which describes it as stolen Iraqi property, seized the tablet in 2019. It is the only Hobby Lobby artifact among those being returned to Iraq to have been exhibited in the Museum of the Bible. So they just put that little one. Hey, look, guys. Look what we found. Like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Hobby Lobby.
Well, at least they weren't hiding it, right? At least it was being... but I wonder how they described it in the museum. That's interesting. What's also potentially a conspiracy are all these DC Capitol Police officers that keep dying by suicide.
Yeah, man.
How fucking weird is that?
It's super weird. And I was reading into this, and check it out, man. Okay, so 2 more DC police officers dead of suicide. That's a total of 4. You got Officer Gunther Hashida, assigned to the emergency response team within the Special Operations Divisions on July 29th in his residence. That's where he killed himself. Okay. Metropolitan Police Officer Kyle DeFreytag was found dead July 10th. Metropolitan Police Officer Jeffrey Smith and U.S. Capitol Police Officer Howard Liebengood. So those are the 4 that died. Okay, so if you go on to read in this article, it says a little about that, but then it'll bring up testimony of Harry Dunn. Right, so the CNN article tells you about the suicides, and then it goes right into the testimony of Congress by Harry Dunn, delivered an emotional plea to officers who defended the Capitol to seek out professional help if they need it. Sorry, I just hit that.
I watched a little bit of that testimony, a little bit of it live, with him crying and stuff.
Yeah, so I want to take the moment and speak to my fellow officers about the emotions they are continuing to experience from the events of January 6th. There's nothing wrong with seeking professional counseling. What we went through that day was traumatic. If you're hurting, please get help. So Dunn is a black man, and I clicked through to another article. Like, I love black people. I'm not judging. I'm just saying he's a black guy. So, forget what article it was, but it talks more about, see, this is one of the cops that was killed. I shouldn't have showed you that. Oh, wait, I'm not showing you anything.
Yeah, you're not showing me shit. You're showing me stuff about Iraq.
I need to switch my window. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've been clicking through with you, though. So, sorry, I wasn't looking at the Skype window.
That's just for the viewers. You can have whatever you want with yours. So, here we are. Okay, so you go through
not seeing it.
You're not seeing my article?
Nope, still on the Iraq article.
Okay, well, I switched the window, and it's red on my article. So let me just turn it off and then start over.
Your background is great.
Thank you. Now do you see it?
Now I see it.
Okay, so the article opens up talking about the people who had died. Got the Sheeta and the names. 4 known suicides by officers. Here's their names. Okay, and then it just jumps into talking about the testimony and Dunn and the attack. So if you look into Dunn and what happened there, basically what happened was they were called lots of racial slurs by crazy racist Trump supporters. And he said, I don't normally get political when I'm doing my job, but the people were saying, this is our house. This is our house. We won that election. Biden didn't win. And he said, I told them, "Oh, I voted for Biden. Does my vote not count?" And that's when they started calling him the N-word and then beat him and said kill him with his own gun and trauma. And that's terrible. That's really terrible. Yeah. That's traumatizing. But the 4 guys that killed themselves are not Dunn or any of the black people that received the racial treatment. It was 4 white guys.
Right.
So you see how this article combines the two to spin the one narrative so you don't question the suicides because they're all suffering from trauma because racist Trump supporters.
Sure.
It wasn't it wasn't black people that killed themselves. They were all white guys. That's who this guy was that I just showed you was one of the guys. This guy, DeFraytag. Yeah, DeFraytag, from what I understand, he responded to the insurrection, worked a later shift. I think he was hit in the head, if it was this guy. Was found deceased last evening. Yeah, so here's another guy that was killed, Hashida, not a black guy. And there's the other 2 that were killed, not black guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Dunn is the black guy that was
accosted.
Accosted. So
it's just the likelihood that all of these guys are killing themselves. I think they're being suicided. Yeah. I mean, what's the whole point of this of them analyzing this January 6th insurrection so hard? I mean, to me, the conspiracy would be that they're going to use this as an excuse to further monitor the American people and have powers to quell domestic terrorism, and that's what they'll label it, domestic terrorist. And it's just going to be a further infringement on our rights. They'll be able to censor you if they consider you as someone who's a domestic terrorist who might be speaking out against their agenda. It could get to the point where they can round you up and fucking arrest you just based on things you might post online. Like, to me, that's where all this stuff's going. That's why they're analyzing. That's why instead of focusing on governing, they're looking to this January 6th as if it's the worst thing that's ever happened in U.S. history. I'm not saying it wasn't bad, right? Like, what happened to that officer Dunn probably shouldn't happen to anybody, right? That's terrible. But is it the Civil War? I don't think so. Were there a lot of shady things that happened, like officers letting those people, like opening the barricades and stuff and letting them in? That's questionable. Yeah, absolutely. So to me, this feels like some sort of conspiracy that's just going to allow them to further infringe on our privacy and our rights. What are you pulling up here?
A 5th article. That's kind of a side note. The lag in my computer causes me to make bad clicks, and then I have to wait for it to compensate. But I agree with what you were saying about how this is being spun in a way to feed that narrative to accomplish those end goals of the intelligence agency and further control of America based on false flags and things that are debunked and things like that. And this was just connected to it. The guy who they said it was a police officer who said he was hit in the head and was fine. But people were like, well, what the fuck are you saying? Because isn't this you?
Oh, yeah.
It's a big thing. Did you see that?
Yep, I did see that. That's why I saw that picture and it looked familiar. I was like,
I just brought up how it was debunked by fact checkers, and I think it's hilarious that the fact checking is coming from Reuters, and there's like these 3 main corporation establishments that are fact checkers, like PolitiFact. Snopes has been debunked. I think there's a 3rd one, and then Reuters. And I just think it's so hilarious that people just take the easy route and go to these fact-checking sources and just see what they say. Be like, oh, nope, it's bullshit. Because fundamentally, what fact-checking is is you checking the facts. So whether you go and get the facts from a fact checker or a journalist, it's still your duty when the ball is in your court with the information to fact check it. Like, in no way does deferring to an establishment fact checker do the job of fact checking. Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
so what did the fact checkers say about this particular?
Oh, it's been debunked and it wasn't him, and they found another guy.
But how do they debunk it? Like, what was the? Because they looked identical. Whenever I saw the photo side by side, that guy looked like it was his twin. Like, what are the chances you have like a doppelganger that just shows up that looks identical to you on January 6th?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really read much into it. I just wanted to bring the article up to show that conspiracy was apparently debunked, just to bring some balance to the conversation, but also point out that, like, do you get what I'm saying? How they've redefined what fact checking is?
Yeah, for sure.
For dumb people. Because if you go to PolitiFact, you ever been to PolitiFact?
A few times, yeah.
It's the corniest shit. It's like a animated steamboat looking gauge with an arrow that says red or green, mostly false, mostly true. It's like, this is how people are going to fact check, and they think that they're doing a job of fact checking. It's like, you're just doing the same thing anybody does when they read a headline and then doesn't fact check. Like,
true.
Like, you can't get away from fact checking. Even if you go to a fact checker, you still gotta research it to fact check. But people are like, the arrow's in the green, so. And then Reuters, debunked. And then I haven't even read this article, but I just think it's so funny that fact-checking establishments exist and it's okay to people. It's just, I can't wrap my head around that concept. Like, it's logically impossible for a fact-checking establishment to exist because you're still responsible for fact-checking the information you take in.
I mean, I could see it maybe not positioned as a fact-checking establishment, but hey, here are the counter arguments to the points being made in this particular article, right? And if you have
this is why I'm calling it fact check from Reuters, because the original article is called fact checked. DC officer Michael Fanone was not pictured carrying Confederate flag, capital C. So his name is Michael Fanone, and apparently the guy indicted was something Seafried.
Kevin Seafried.
Yeah, but Reuters fact checks all the time. It's like an official verb. It's like bootylicious in the dictionary now. Like, fact check is this new thing. It's like, how does this become a thing unless you redefined what fact checking is to people who just want to suck the teat of an empire? And I'm not saying fact checking sites are wrong, but it's fundamentally wrong to simply defer to it and move on.
Yeah.
And that's how they get you, because maybe they won't really fact check. They'll just kind of dismiss it. And then everyone will be like,
you saw they fact checked it. That was debunked, and they just read the headline part of it.
Yeah.
They didn't actually go in and.
Yeah. I don't think this one has pictures.
It did.
Of the guy. The other one did, but not of the original officer. It had pictures of who was indicted. Kevin Seafried. Yeah, so anyway, to wrap up that section, a bunch of white cops killed themselves, and it so seamlessly went into the trauma of the black cops who did not kill themselves. And now everyone's up in arms about the insurrection of January 6th, which we know FBI officers led the way.
As in the same way they led the way for that kidnapping of Gretchen Whitmer, and the same way they led the way in having that kid detonate that fake bomb and arrest him. So,
yeah, it's COINTELPRO, it's false flags. It's in one of its many forms.
And no one gives a shit. No one on the news is talking about any of this stuff.
Yeah.
No one.
And it's crazy. So at work recently, they asked me if I was vaccinated. You know, I work at the Comedy Works Club, and I was helping at the downtown club to get it ready.
Did you just lie and say yes?
No, I don't lie. I just say, no, I'm not. And when I was hired, they said it's not going to affect your employment. And there was an email that said it wasn't going to affect your employment. And they asked me at the South Club, there's 2 locations. And I said no, and there was never a problem. but I'm working with the two top managers here. I don't want to drop their names, but it's like the two top people of the best club in the country. And we're all working together. So she asked me if I'm vaccinated. I said no. And then politely, she and another woman working there that's high up there, they asked me on separate moments, why don't you want to get the vaccine? And I started to like kind of take a second, because that's a loaded question.
Yeah, for sure.
So she told me, the first lady, she told me, like, you don't have to answer. You can tell me to stick my opinion in my ass. I'm just curious to know what you think. So I told her basically Fauci funded the whole thing. They lied about it and covered it up. They crashed our economy. They didn't bail out the people. They didn't help us at all. We didn't get Medicare. They extended the war budget and started bombing new countries. The last thing they're doing is helping us. So that's why I don't believe in playing their game, because that's all it is to them. And she was like, well, that was very well thought out, much different than what my nephew said. And I laughed and said, what does he say? And she said, well, he thinks the vaccines are going to make you magnetized and they're going to track you through molecules. And in my mind, I'm like, so this is what everybody thinks about people who don't want the vaccine.
Yeah, that's true.
And she was very surprised at my response. And then the main lady, one of the two main managers of the club, the main lady, won't say her name. I love these people. They're nice people. They simply respectfully asked me what my opinion was. And I tried to So I tried to give the same answer to her, and she cut me off twice and was like, I don't see what that has to do with anything. And I was shocked, because like, it has everything to do with everything. And then she told me, this is the big kicker. She told me, yeah, but they have to create the virus so that they can protect you from it. Like, they have to do the gain of function. And in my head, I was like, holy fuck. A year ago, you didn't believe that shit. And now it's the basis for what you believe, but it's spun in such a way. And it's
virtuous.
But it's spun in such a way that they still side with the establishment. They haven't connected the dots. Like, you just answered the question. They fucking made it. They created this virus. And all the people that were crazy conspiracy theorists are now right, and they're repeating the information, but in a way to defend establishment, because like, yeah, but they have to do that, so we can't be mad at Fauci. And I was like, yeah, exactly. Like, and then it's
hopeless, Dylan. It's hopeless.
I just continued my answer just to move on. I wasn't arguing, I was just answering. And I was like, instead of giving us Medicare for all, they extended the military budget and started bombing other countries and made tons of money off of us. They didn't help us. She's like, but the government lies about that stuff. Like, that's what they do. And I was like, so you just answered the question again.
Yeah, they lie.
Yeah, and it was just really mind-blowing that smart, respectable people can't wrap their head around the whole story when it's presented to them.
Man, people are so rabid about vaccinations right now.
And then the other main manager,
rabid, feeling like
the other main
people
manager,
I personally know, like getting aggressive with other people that I personally know about vaccines and vaccination status.
Yeah, well, that's what this other manager started doing, because he was talking to a girl like cleaning chairs. And they were like, I don't understand all these people that aren't vaccinated. He was like, I know. What is the deal? Like, by these stupid people. And he was blaming unvaccinated people for the business problems they had. And I'm thinking, like, so I just chimed into the conversation. I was like, nothing would change if everyone got vaccinated. They don't want, like, people vaccinated now are getting COVID and they're still the mandate.
I know, like, my bass player, Jarek, vaccinated, got COVID.
Yeah,
another musician friend I know vaccinated, got COVID.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of vaccinated people I know that caught it. Now,
yeah, and he spit a fact real quick just to wrap it up. He spit a fact about how like 90% of people hospitalized that get it bad don't have the vaccine. I was like, I don't know about that. Most of the people getting hospitalized right now have the vaccine. He said, yeah, but they don't get it as bad. And I was like, I don't know about that. And he said, well, I do, and I'm done being nice about it. And he walked off, and like, I was like, okay, I just wanted to like be in the conversation with my opinion too, but it wasn't able to be accepted without being emotionally triggered and storming off. And I don't want to argue with these people, because this is the best job in the world for me. Fucking comedy works, and I'm there with the two top people. So I just want to like not argue, and I didn't. But even what little I did, they asked me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's crazy, man.
But what you were saying earlier about I forgot what you said, but it was relevant to that. Like, people are just really reacting, and it doesn't even matter the truth. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, they just rabid about vaccines. Like, man, I just see so many aggressive. Like when I do I don't pop on the social media often, but like anytime I have in the past week, it has been people just talking about how the unvaccinated are ruining this country, and they should, like, people saying they should be rounded up and shot and shit like that. Like, that's the mentality. Like, what the fuck are you saying?
That's got to be bots and stuff. That's got to be COINTELPRO and CIA psyops and shit.
No, this is people I know.
People you know said they should be shot?
Yes.
Fuck, man. Do that mean shot with like the shot or with the
No, like just being just being hyperbolic about it.
Wow.
Like they're just tired of being nice about it. Like, get the vaccine or get the fuck out, you know?
I believe that the truth prevails, and the way that non-truth handles itself is unsustainable in the long term, even though in the short term,
sure,
it's like a fighter in a fight when you're dealing with this insanely emotional barrage of a fighter, but that's not sustainable. And as long as you have the fundamentals and the truth and you're in shape,
true,
and you can outlast that. It's like, it's gotta outlast, because how can people deny everyone's still getting COVID with the vaccine? How can people deny that? Unless they're just, they are, because they're just getting this, I don't know. I mean, even information that supports what I believe, I don't know about it sometimes, you know. I honestly try to form an opinion based off of like time away from having read a bunch of shit.
I mean, just never before have we had a situation where people are giving like medical health advice to other people and like threatening them about it. Like, that should be up to that person and their fucking doctor. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a fuck if you're vaccinated, if you're not vaccinated. If I'm vaccinated, you know, I didn't really necessarily want to get it. I got it to make my life comfortable. I'm fine.
First shot.
I'm fine. You know, and you know, it has not affected me negatively. I don't have the brain, but it does affect some people negatively. It does.
I got fucked up. It was like 2 days of having a fever and super tired, and like I didn't go to open mic and didn't do anything. I didn't go to work. I was like, God damn, this is worse.
Do you have sustained effects from it though? Probably not. Oh. Yeah, and some people do though. Some people have that brain fog. It's like giving them inflammation of the brain. Like there are cases out about that
Jimmy
are
Dore.
True. Yeah, I was listening to Jimmy Dore talk about it,
and how ivermectin is what's helping him recover 80% of his side effects from the second shot. And ivermectin is what Big Pharma is shitting all over right now.
And to say his experience is not real, I mean, what the fuck? Are you going to tell him that he's just making that up? No, that data, like he says, that data needs to be out there so that we can improve upon this process. Yeah. But to just act like the vaccine is this miracle drug that's perfect, that gives no one any side effects whatsoever, and it's going to save us, is bullshit.
Yep, absolute bullshit.
And anyway, didn't mean to derail us into another COVID conversation. You know, we inevitably end up in masks or talking about the vaccine or something. But I mean, we have to, because it's literally what is connected to everything. It's like probably the biggest conspiracy right in front of our fucking faces right now.
Yeah, because the people that looted the artifacts and were involved in that are like the same people who are promoting the mask agenda and not wearing masks. And it's like the same people compromised by Epstein, and the same people that profited off of the lockdowns, and the same people that don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's all connected at this point in time, because like one of my buddies, he's like, yeah, I don't really care about politics. I try to tune it out because it doesn't really matter, and I think it's all stupid. And one of my response is, it's not, because it affects our life, and it affects people in third world countries that are being bombed right now, because we don't want to wake up and take to the streets to stop it. But we did when we wanted weed to be legal. People took to the streets and kept liquor stores open here in Denver when the lockdown happened. That was a huge blowback, and all the liquor stores opened up in like 4 hours.
What?
You know? when people are awake and they use their voice, they can make a change. And it's not stupid politics. It does affect your everyday life. And we really saw that in the last year and a half because everybody was affected by politics. We didn't get Medicare. We didn't get bailed out. We didn't get good science. We didn't get good help. We lost a bunch of money and they gained a bunch of money, and we were all directly affected. And I don't understand how this buddy and other people can maintain that same perspective like it doesn't matter. It's like, wake the fuck up, dude. It does matter, and we can make a difference. We've seen society make differences, and it's only when they wake up and they just take to the streets and don't accept it anymore. You know, like the squad could have withheld the vote on Nancy Pelosi until she gave us Medicare for all, but they didn't. They talked shit on camera like they're fighting for it.
Right.
And then they went and voted for it with no pushback. Because they're all corrupt and bought out, and we directly got affected because none of us got proper bailouts. We got a couple stimuluses, some of us. We got actively fucked. It's not even that the government fumbled the ball, because this is what a lot of people say, like, yeah, government's incompetent. They just can't do it. It's like, it's not that they didn't do anything. They actively fucked us. They did do things. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they competently fucked us in front of our face. It's not in the middle where they just didn't do well and they tried. They achieved the opposite. Like walking a dog with a harness will make the dog pull more. And it will embed those pulling dominant habits even deeper in a dog. I see it all the time. Dogs that pull in the way they do because of a harness. So it's not that the harness doesn't work. It actively achieves the opposite result. And that's what's so hard for people to understand when you explain to them, use a collar. And it's like, same thing with the government in the last year. It's like, it's not that they didn't do anything. They actively achieved the opposite result. And people can't wrap their head around that. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. And people aren't mad about it because the media is in bed with them. And they get to spin the narratives because the media all these reporters and stuff, like if they don't follow the narrative and they start asking tough questions, they lose access to these politicians. Right. And then we are only allowed to hear what they want us to hear. So if you ask the tough questions and you're a reporter, you get kicked out of the room, you know?
Yeah.
So to act like everything that's coming through on the news is truthful and all these politicians really are virtuous and have our best interest at heart, because that's what the news is telling you, is fucking crazy.
Yeah. And, while we're talking about the news and information, let's reflect on Alex Jones for a minute and all the claims he made about Chinese organ harvesting in babies in hospitals, and how he saw his dad do it growing up, and how this is all crazy conspiracy from Alex Jones. He said the same thing about adrenochrome and elites drinking babies' blood that was adrenalized from fear because it keeps you younger. That was crazy conspiracy. One of the things that helped them get banned. And also, New York Times and other major establishments started coming out with science. It was on like the cover of Time magazine, how like rich elite people are drinking young blood, having young blood transfusions to help you look younger. It's like, okay, so here we go now, right?
Yeah.
Just worded differently so people don't connect it, but it's the same thing. They have to come out with it because it's true.
He's been right about a bunch of shit, not everything.
And he's right again, because listen to this. Government-funded researchers sought aborted minorities for organ harvesting. The federal government gave at least $2.7 million in taxpayer money to researchers who sought out minority babies who had been aborted in order to harvest their organs. University of Pittsburg targeted minorities in its request for infant organs, including those taken from full-term babies, to create a pipeline for fetal research. Researchers say they needed 50% of the donated fetuses to be minorities. 25% must come from black women. Pittsburgh metropolitan area is 85% white and 8% black. Researchers stress the importance of maintaining organ blood flow in the request, which watchdogs say could violate federal law by asking doctors to illegally preserve organs during labor-inducing abortions. So,
in other words, keep the baby alive.
Yeah, so the organ is fresher.
The NIH also apparently has their hand in this too. Surprise, surprise.
Which is another layer why I don't want the vaccine, because these people making money and pushing this information and mandates on society are the same people involved in all of this super evil stuff that is from a Batman movie that people can't wrap their head around. And they can't wrap their head because it was Alex Jones that broke this news, but no one listens to him. It's fucking brilliant the way information works these days.
Now, to play devil's advocate on this particular one, let's say these women were going to be having abortions anyway. I guess the argument would be, well, these organs would just go to waste, where they could be used for study, for medical progress to save lives in the future, right?
Right.
That would be the argument for being able to do this type of research.
But I think,
but the way in which they are collecting the organs definitely, the counter argument is the way that they are collecting these organs. It's kind of evil if what we're reading here is true, that doctors may illegally preserve organs during labor-inducing abortions. In other words, they keep the baby, because it's a baby, they keep it alive to keep the organs fresh, as you're saying, so that when they do get it to this University of Pittsburgh, that it's able to be actually used for this research.
Yeah. So. But I think regardless of right or wrong, or if they can or not, Alex Jones called it and he was right, and nobody listened because it sounded.
Yeah, for sure. It does sound absolutely insane.
And then this is in 1 year, 2 of these things coming out that Alex Jones called. So check this out. The experiments with aborted infants at the University of Pittsburgh, sponsored by the NIH, are like Kermit Gosnell's House of Horrors, but this time funded by the government, Deleton told Washington Free Beacon. It was systemic bias and abortion extremism that permitted Gosnell to evade the law for so long. And the same thing is happening in Pittsburgh. These atrocities deserve the full response of law enforcement and government officials. Law enforcement should put a stop to it and arrest the perpetrators. So basically, there's illegal activity going, because abortion is legal. But what you do with the organs and shit, they're just getting shady under the table. Like, hey, because this opened up another layer of understanding for me as to why abortion by default is legal. Because there's a lot of pushback, like Arkansas made it illegal. There's people that don't want it. There's people that do want it. And I think the reason it leans in favor of it being legal is because there's a whole market of organs. Like, whoever is doing whatever with these organs, and some people say, well, they're doing research so they can make babies better and understand them more.
See, this one's hard for me to fucking read, because just not that I'm like anti whatever. I'm not gonna have a pro-life, pro-choice discussion on here, but just to read about like damn near full-term babies that it killed and their organs harvested is hard to read about.
Yeah.
I mean, at 42 weeks, I mean, anything past like 23 weeks is a viable baby. Like, they can keep that baby alive in NICU, if it was born, as a premature. Couldn't think of the damn word. So, the fact that I didn't know abortion was legal late term like that.
What I was saying was, I understand, like, I always thought abortion was just about like the woman, and if you can't have the baby, you should be able to get it aborted.
Sure.
But it makes sense that there's this whole dark underbelly of a market going on for the organs. And like, it's probably not even about women's rights when it comes to the power elites. It's about the market, the money, the adrenochrome, the gene editing and research. Who knows? But one other thing Alex Jones said about the Chinese organ harvesting was that they're doing gene tests to create clones and creatures and shit, basically.
Yeah,
so,
he did.
But just this last paragraph here, we keep getting this pushback that, it's not illegal, but it's all done behind closed doors with redactions. De Liberto told the Free Beacon, if this is all legit, why did we have to fight so hard to get a document? And when we get them, they're redacted. Why do we have to go to court to see who's paying for this? The grant proposal. There's a grant proposal. Let's read this. University of Pittsburgh has been involved in fetal organ research for more than a decade. It conducted an experiment in 2020 that implanted the scalps of aborted fetuses onto lab mice. Implanted the scalps of aborted fetuses on lab mice in a study funded by Dr. Anthony Fauci's National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. The grant proposal boasts of the institutions experiencing a handling a variety of... Hold on. The grant proposal boasts of the institution's experience handling a variety of fetal organs, including the liver, heart, legs, brain, kidneys, and bladders. It outlined its goal of becoming a pipeline for fetal organ research, not only conducting research, but providing organs for other institutions to experiment on. So we don't have to keep going on this. This is like a rough subject, but, you know, this is happening, and Fauci's involved again. Another reason why I don't want his fucking vaccine and why he can suck my fucking dick. That's why I didn't get the vaccine. Not because
but you did.
Well, I didn't want to get it. I did not because of Fauci or because I'm like, I need to do it to help the society. I got it so I could keep my job at the best club in the country. That's worth it for me. That's it. That's it. Yeah. So if I die of dementia when I'm 54, I know why. It was that fucking vaccine. But it was all worth it. It was all fucking worth it.
Yep.
So that's, you know.
Yeah, it's a pretty shady subject here.
But Alex Jones was right again, dude. What are you going to do? A journalist rule of thumb that I got from Abby Martin, I believe, was that it doesn't matter where the information comes from. The only thing that matters is the information. She was talking about like a WikiLeaks file transfer or something and how they didn't publish it because it came from WikiLeaks or something. And she was like, are you fucking kidding me? It doesn't fucking matter where it came from. All that matters is the fucking information. So it's like, yeah, Alex Jones said it, but suck it up, people. It is what it is.
He was right.
We got one more fun.
Yeah, at least to end on a positive note. That last one was a fucking downer.
Sorry, bro.
It's all good.
We gotta get the truth out to the people.
Yeah, you're right. It's hard for me to talk about that shit, though.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all good.
So, basically, X-ray flares originating from behind a black hole have been observed for the first time by an international team led by Dan Wilkins at Stanford University in the U.S.
I wonder if he's in Skull and Bones.
Oh, dude, probably.
Stanford.
The wavelength shifted X-ray flashes are believed to have originated as photons that collided with the black hole's inner accretion disk before being redirected towards Earth by the black hole's colossal gravity. They can understand the immediate surroundings of a black hole. So basically all this light is coming from around the black hole from something. And that light, just before material passes across the inescapable event horizon of a black hole, theories predict that it is superheated to millions of degrees, forming a rotating corona of plasma surrounding the black hole. Meanwhile, the black hole's magnetic field is continually twisting, snapping, and recombining as the plasma rotates. This magnetic activity imparts colossal amounts of energy on plasma electrons, which produces intense, characteristic flashes of X-rays. That's pretty wild.
So that's what they're seeing are the big bright flashes of the X-rays.
Yeah, what I'm trying to understand is, are they talking about when material goes into the black hole?
Around it.
Or from the other side around it. So it gets superheated, plasma, gravity. That's interesting, man. Just light photons combined with energy and heat combined with super intense gravity creates plasma and X-ray flashes. It's just like energy. It
says that due to Einstein's general theory of relativity, these echoes should be bent around the black hole and magnified by its intense gravitational field. So what they did was, in their study, Wilkins' team made X-ray observations of the black hole at the center of Zwicky 1, a galaxy about 59 million light years away, using NASA's New Star telescope and ESA's XMM Newton instrument. Just as Wilkins predicted, both telescopes clearly detected energy-shifted X-ray flashes, which followed brighter, larger flares, which I guess the larger flares are the ones that were coming from behind it, providing key evidence that X-rays from behind the black hole had echoed off its accretion disk. So, a long story short, through future observations of this effect, they hope that they can learn more about the physical processes taking place in black hole coronas, which have so far been notoriously difficult to study. The ideal opportunity for these measurements will come with ESA's Athena X-ray Observatory, which will launch in 2031, and it's going to feature a far larger mirror than the existing X-ray telescopes. And it's going to enable in-depth observations of X-rays originating throughout the entire coronas of black holes. So, we still don't know what the hell is going on with a black hole, but we're getting closer and closer to figuring it out with all of our new instruments that we have. But
what do you think happens if you were to get sucked into a black hole? What do you think your reality would be? Do you think you would stay alive and you would
No. You will be ripped down to the atom level.
From our perspective.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I think.
Perspective.
That's what I think would happen. I think you would die from being in a vacuum of space and freezing cold. But yeah, your body would get stretched to the point where your atoms are getting basically ripped apart.
Let me read you something.
What is that noise? Oh.
I don't know.
Are you moving your mic around or something?
Might have been rubbing it with my arm. I read The Omega Conspiracy, was it? That book I sent you, and there was a piece in there. It says Charles Campbell-John, scientist and former chief design engineer for the Apollo project, says that a strange phenomena lies in the vortex of our galaxy. It's a rotating black hole, he says. It's spinning around in one direction. If we were to get in our spaceship and go into this black hole, funny things would happen. If we go with the rotation of the black hole, we will be going forward in time. If we go against the rotation, we'll be going backward in time. It produces a paradox. Hold on. That's the wrong photo. I screenshot this and sent it to my buddy.
You don't have it up on your screen if you're trying to show us something.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Shit, that doesn't even make sense anymore now that I'm reading it.
Going to make this prolific point about what happens whenever you fly into a black hole with a spaceship.
It produces a paradox because if you go with the rotation, then turn around and come back, you'll meet yourself coming in.
Whoa.
So basically, I think that you don't die when you enter a black hole because from your perspective, you're still there. It's just from my perspective, you'd be spread thin. But from your because here's my theory is that however things get dissipated while entering a black hole is on it's to the terms. It does it on the terms of mathematics, perfect mathematics, breaking down molecular structure. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's like black hole universe mathematics. And it's kind of like a logical puzzle too, because only from my perspective are you dying, and from your perspective, you when you come back on the other side, maybe because all that stuff doesn't get destroyed, it just gets spread and moved through into another dimension. So I think you live through it, and you're just in another dimension. You probably suffocate to death, but I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think we'll ever figure it out, but that's a mind fuck.
Yeah, it is. That's how I want to go, is a black hole.
Ideally. I hope we all go by a black hole, that there's just one that's expanding to the point where it's going to reach exponential expansion and eat the Earth. Fuck, that could happen, right?
It will happen, technically, in billions of years.
Right.
But
good episode, man.
I think that wraps up everything we had for today.
Yeah, I had fun just shooting the shit with you, too. Glad to hear about your comedy journey.
Thanks, man.
I'm excited to see where that goes.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you become like a paid regular somewhere. That'd be cool.
That would be awesome. We'll see. I just love doing it, and I have fun doing it.
That's the main thing, man.
Yeah. Yeah, music is where I put all my bones. Comedy is like, whatever. I just like go and do it.
Well, you could do both, you know.
Yeah, music takes all this fucking time, and then you do a show every now and then. But comedy, you can be out all the time. So it's like I can still get that fix.
Right. As I'm saying, you could do both.
Yeah, it doesn't slow music down at all, actually. Just fits into this void.
And it helps that you're working at a comedy club.
Yeah, getting to see people.
Yeah, you'll be opening for Tim Dillon before you know it, man.
Yeah, I told you I saw him, right?
Yeah.
He was so funny. That would be crazy to open up for him.
That would be.
But, so what's the record label y'all are signed to again?
Lacerated Enemy.
Lacerated Enemy. Okay, everybody go check out that record label. Go to the website. Tag them on social media and be like, thanks for signing Golgothan. That's awesome.
For sure. Do that.
That's pretty
We'd
badass.
appreciate
So
it.
have you got any word yet on what the game plan is with the business? How y'all are going to go ahead?
Yeah, we're gonna release a single first. Album should be out, I think, October. So we'll be kind of building up promotion to that.
Cool, man. That's so awesome.
Yeah, man. I'm excited.
Everybody go check out Golgothan on Bandcamp. It'll be on Spotify and shit soon, or do you have some stuff?
It's already on Spotify and Apple Music. And
the record or everything?
Not the record, but all our other stuff is. Like
okay, badass.
We have like a bunch of songs already up there. Go check them out. Like
okay,
a lot
so
of albums.
The click through to Golgothan will be in the description below. If you're listening on the podcast networks, it'll just be to your Spotify, but it's on Apple Music and all that other shit too. If you guys want to search there, I'll just put the Spotify links just because it seems pretty universal. So click on that.
Check out the latest offering, which is rotting genitalia.
Yes, yeah, check it out. It's badass shit, and the mix and master is good. It really jams in the car. You can jam that shit. Also, check out Alfred and the Tednators. We still are rocking our jam tapes and our last record. On YouTube, we have Live at Herman's Hideaway, an acoustic set under the playlist. If you guys like that enough, and let us know you like it, we'll put it up on streaming. But we're going to wait for the new record coming out, and then we'll drop that live record I promoted forever.
And then also stand by for some of the production work Dylan is doing with Son of a Gun.
Yes, the new mix and master is coming out awesome. I did some more enhancements since I sent you that side compression, and I put a better master and shit like that. Yeah, I'm on the home stretch right now. I might need you to help me with that one song, but okay. I think it was a double guitar take that was out of tune. It sounds fine once I deleted it, but I'm not there yet. So yeah, that record's coming out, Son of a Gun. If you like metal. Then Alfred and the Tednators, and then we're starting on Death of Skepsis. More shit coming out there.
More shit.
I got a guy turned on to us at the Safeway parking lot. I was jamming August Burns Red, and he was like, "Hey, who is that?" And I told him, and then I was like, "Check out my band." So he followed us right there, and then we had a bunch of plays that month. So I think he's into
Sweet, he's into it. Nice.
Yeah. So also check out our hip hop record, Metamorphicon, Black Matter Lives. We're working on another one. And it's pretty cool. We're working on another one, me and Jesse.
Man, just doing it across the country, riffing.
Yeah, and then I'm going to get back to working on acoustic stuff, that shit we were doing a while back.
Yeah.
I want to get all that going again, but in due time, I'm in a weird spot.
We're both in weird spots.
Because in my mind, when I moved, I was still thinking I'll be flexible enough to just come back. But in reality, it's like I fucking never have any money to go back. So it's like now I'm in this pickle where it's like, fuck these important projects. It's like I want you to know that it's not because I don't want to do them. I just had to.
Dylan, the thing is, I'm an adult and I understand that it's expensive, and I get that.
We're going to get it going again. Recording.
Yes.
An acoustic record. Man, we do it all, baby. We do everything.
We really do.
We literally do everything.
Including a podcast.
Name something we don't do.
We don't do dance videos.
Well, I do.
Fuck. Well, then I don't do dance videos. Yeah. That's something we don't do then together.
Yeah. You're more than welcome to join me. It's really a fun time.
All right. Maybe that'll be next. Choreographed dance videos.
Awesome. Yes, dude. Yes. Okay, man. Well,
right,
fucking awesome episode. I hope everybody enjoyed that one. Check out episode 25, Phil Schneider. because that is essentially part 1 of a Hollow Earth saga we're doing. And then the last episode, 26, we covered giants and shit, so that's kind of like a part 2.
Next week we'll be talking Agartha.
Yeah, we're going to be going balls deep next week. So we're going to do that next week.
Yeah, sure. I've already read. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get those 4 cultures from the documentary and send them to you, and then we can internet research and bang out Agartha.
Let's do it.
Part 3, Agartha, Hollow Earth, and other ancient mysteries regarding Hollow Earth next week. Thanks, everybody. Thanks.
Later, man.
Peace, bro.